Okay, we're holding today. Today's Monday. We're holding in the second portion of the portion of Chaye Sarah, the life of Sarah. Vayakim stay Ephraim Asher b'Machpelah, and so the field of Ephraim, which it was in the Machpelah. Asher lefnei Mamre, which was established, it was facing Mamre. Asada v'amora, the field and the cave Ashaboy that was in the Chol Eitz Asher b'Asada, and all the trees that was in that field Asher b'Chol Gvulei Saviv, in which was an entire border area. So Asher Vayakim is an interesting word. Vayakim, it stood up, so it really means it rose, it experienced an elevation. For left the possession of a simple person and went into the possession of a king, came the possession of Avraham Avinu. Simple meaning of the verse is that the field and the cave that was within it and all that trees was established as Abraham's possession. Vayakim, it stood up, it was established, it was accepted, and the land became his. Avraham Mikne was to Abraham as a possession. In front of the eyes of the children of Ches, and to all those that came to the gates of the city. So in the midst of them all, in the presence of all, he sold it to them. So here, this was a uncontested sale, accepted by everybody, and everybody understood that now the land became Avraham Avinu's. After that, Avram buried his wife. In the cave, in the field of the Machpelah, Mamre, which is facing Mamre, he Chevron, which is in the city of Chevron, that is Canaan, in the land of Canaan. And the field and the cave within it is established to Avram as a burial property, a chuzas cover, to a place of burial properly from the children of Ches. It should be the Torah emphasized this, that this land should be not a contested land, but it is till today. Whatever is not contested by the Jews suddenly become contested by the world. Now Hebron is a hot spot. Chapter 24, verse number 1. Avram Zakin, and Avram became old. Baba Yamim, he came with his days. Hashem Beirich as Avram Bakel, and God blessed Avram with everything. So Rashi says, Bakel is a gematria ben. What means everything? Bakel is a gematria ben, a son. He had Yitzchak. Umachashoyele ben. And now they had a son, and he lost his wife. He had started worrying about marrying off his son. His son was not a young man; he was in his 30s, 37 years old. Some will say Avram Bakel is a girl, but different interpretations. Bakel. That's why you say in the grace of meals, we say Bakel, Mikoil, Koil. Avraham Avinu said Bakoil, everything. Mikoil is Yitzchak said Mikoil later in the Torah, and Yaakov said Koil. Avram allowed this kind basis. Avram told his servant, the elder of his house, everything that he owned, he was the one who controlled everything. Eliezer, place your hand on my thigh. So Rashi is Zokim Beisai. In the constructor state, is a vowel zikam basic. Since the one who swears must take in his hand an article related to a mitzvah, such as a Torah scroll or a tefillin, and at that time the only mitzvah that he had was circumcision. So therefore, he told him, "Put your hand by my thigh, and you, in that way, you'll be the closest to the mitzvah." And it was dear to him, so he took it. And make a vow to God. The God of the heavens, to the God of the earth. Do not take a girl from the daughters of Canaan. Which I dwell in their midst. You should go back to the land where I came from. Go there and find a girl for my son Yitzchak for that land. What happens if the girl don't want to come back to here? You won't want to come back. Asher is mincha. Shall I bring Yitzchak there? Beware, lest you return. I said, you can't do that. The God of the heavens who took me out of the house of my father, from the house of my birth, who spoke to me, who made a promise to me. Promised me that he's going to give me this land. He'll send your angels before you. You'll find a wife. Don't worry. Don't worry, God runs the world. He'll bring your wife to you. Rashi says, God of the heavens. What happened to the God of the earth? He said 2 minutes ago. But he did not say God of the earth. We're above. He mentions, I will adjure to you, the Lord of God, your heavens, and the God of the earth. He said to him, now that he's the God of the heavens and the God of the earth, because I've made him familiar in the mouths of people. But when he took me from my father's house, he was God of the heavens, but he was not God of the earth, because mankind did not acknowledge him. So that's why he changes from God of the heavens and God of the earth to only God of the heavens. He made something from the house of my father, Ashes V'choran. Man's melodity from the place of my birth was from Ur Kasdim. Vashadiber li, here li means concerning me. And Rashi goes on to explain the different expressions the Torah uses when it says the word li, olav, al, elav. All these expressions means about, can mean to, and it can be about. So over here, diber li means about me. Verse 8. And if this girl does not want to go with you, then you're free from the vow. But my son cannot go back. Yitzhak could not leave the land of Israel. If the girl doesn't want to come back, you'll take a girl from the wife and heir, the daughters of Ener, Eshkel, and Mamre. These are the people that are my friends that live in Canaan. You'll take from them a daughter. Raket b'ni, do not send my daughter, my son. B'ni ain't a chayzer. My son is not gonna go leave here and go back to where I came from. But my grandson, Yaakov, Ben B'ni, Seifel, he'll go back there. He's going to go back to Lavan, which is Besuel. He's going to go back to where I came from, to my family. Avram and the servant Eliezer placed his hand under the thigh of Abraham, his master. He made the vow. He made the vow that he would go to Avram's family, and he would do what he asked him to do. That's why Yitzhak couldn't go find his shidduch, because he couldn't leave the land of Israel. That completes the chumash of today. We now go to the Tanya of the day, and we start a new letter, the letter number 29. So here, the focus of the present letter is the distinctive value of the study of halachas, the law of Torah. Sages deem these laws to be crowns of Torah because they are supernal will and must fully reveal within them the laws of Torah, oral Torah, so much as it clearly spells out the God's will with regard to performing a mitzvah. In fact, the Alter Rebbe explains that the supernal will is expressed in the mitzvah, derived from even a higher level of divinity than does the chachma, the wisdom of the Torah. It is divine will that is furnishing the garments which enables the soul to absorb the divine radiance that is manifested in Gan Eden. That's why mitzvahs are called garments, because they are the garments, the mitzvah, because when we do a mitzvah, we do the will of God, and that gives us a garment, so that when we come to Gan Eden, we'll be able to absorb the radiance of God into Gan Eden. It's very strong radiance of God, and these garments give us the capability to absorb and to enjoy the light of God that's in Gan Eden. So the Ratzon, which is higher than the wisdom, the will of the Eibishter, is the mitzvah, and it's higher than the wisdom of the Torah, the wisdom of God, so to say. And therefore, it has the capability, even though they're garments, it has the capability for a Jew to use them to be able to see even higher than regular wisdom, to be able to receive supernal wisdom. The Alter Rebbe starts his letter as follows: Eishes Chayil Ateres Baila. A woman of valor is the crown of her husband. That's the pasuk. This is the verse in the book of Proverbs. It's a metaphor for the Torah. The Torah is likened to a wife in another verse. See to live your life with a woman whom you love. These all expressions are in the book of Shlomo Melech wrote, and he gave examples of the relationship between a man and a woman. And over here he meant, our sages of blessed men explained it means a Torah. See to live with a life with a woman, which is a Torah. That's why the Torah, the word Torah itself is feminine. See to find a wife, find the Torah whom you love. Here too, the woman of valor. Who's Eishes Chayil? A woman of valor. A woman of valor refers to the Torah. More specifically, within the Torah itself, the oral Torah is a wife, and the written Torah is a husband. So Torah Shebiksav is like the husband. That's why it's not. It's so to say like the Chokhmah, that every pasuk and every word there's so much to learn, because you think the word the verse is simple, but it's not simple, because Chokhmah is not simple. And the woman of valor, which Alter Rebbe will later explain, refers to the halachas of Torah, serves as a crown to her husband, the written law. So the wife, the Isha, is Torah Sheba'al Peh, like the Gemara, the Mishnah. Isa the Gemara, we learned in the Gemara Megillah, the Shtama Betaga Cholof. He who takes use of the crowns passes away from the world. That's the way it says in the Gemara. Zah what does the Gemara mean? This applies to one who makes use of one who studies halachas, which are the crown of Torah. So one who abuses the laws of the Torah, unlike the glass of the Bach, who omits the crown of the Torah, the Alter Rebbe here accepts the standard print of the version quoted above. And therefore it says, Tan Devela, the Gemara will go on to say, Tan Devela was taught by the academy of Elijah. Whoever studies halachas, whoever studies the laws of Torah, muftach shu ben olam haba. He's assured a place in the world to come. This is at the conclusion, attracting nida. The text reads, whoever studies halachas daily. Actually explains there are terms halachas refers to Mishnah or Braisa or Hilchos L'Moshe Sinai. The Alter Rebbe, based on Rashi elsewhere, defines halachas as clearly adjudicated law, practical application. Kol Hashoina halachas, whoever learns halacha every day, that's why it's a custom in shuls that between Mincha and Ma'ariv they learn halacha. Kol Hashoina halachas mufta shemein halaba. Now we need to understand why is halachas are referred to as crowns, or the crown of the Torah. Why does it say one who specifically learns halachas? Daf. Want to learn Gemara? Whoever learns Torah will have a will to come. Why halachis? Why dafka the law? Why did it say whoever learns Torah? Why halachas? Whoever learns Mishnah, whoever learns the Chumash, whoever learns the Gemara. Why Chassidus? Whatever. Why halachas? The law. Also understand what the sages said in Pedig Yud Aleph the Menachos. Even if a person would learn one single chapter in the morning, a single chapter in the evening, Yatsi, he would do his obligation. So you learn halacha in the morning, you learn halacha in the evening, you're going to have Elam Haba. Why did it say you learn Torah in the morning and you learn Torah in the evening? Why dafka you learn halacha? But it's well known what the Arizal said. Shakol Adam Yisrael, that every single Jew, every single Jew has to come down in many, many reincarnations. Until he's going to do all the 630 commandments. Not only do all the 630 commandments, he has to do it machshava, in thought, b'dibur, in words, b'maisa, and in speech, and in action. So every mitzvah, 630 commandments, need to be done in thought, speech, and action. Lahashlim levushi nafshe, in order to complete the garments of his soul. Ulasaknam, and to fix that garments, shaloi yeh levushi dechasa, that there will no garment to be incomplete. And if the garment is missing machshava, because we learned in Tanya that all the garments are machshava, dibur, maisa, thought, speech, and action. That's the garments of the soul. So this soul needs to have complete garments. He needs to have the complete garment of the machshava of every mitzvah. He needs to have the complete garment of the learning of every mitzvah. He needs to have the complete garment of the action of every mitzvah. We got a problem. Levad mitzvah tuv melech. Besides one mitzvah, and that's a melech, because a melech is not every Jew will be a melech. You have to come from David HaMelech. You have to come from the tribe of Yehuda. And you have to be the son of David. And how many kings were there in history? So that's excluded, and that's why it says the king is the nation, and the nation is the king, because that's that's when the king. That's why David HaMelech, we sing David HaMelech, because he was part of the nation, and the nation loved him, so he represented the nation. Because he is the collective of them. So therefore, the melech is separate. But in essence, every one of us need to come down to be a kohen. We need to come down to be a Levi. We need to come down as a man. We need to come down as a woman. We need to be able to do every mitzvah. That's why, the reason is to guard all the 613 aspects of the power of the soul. So these 613 organs of the soul must be clothed in the garments of mitzvah. So you have this neshama needs to do everything. So this neshama needs to come down in different bodies and in different people. So they'll be able to accomplish everything. So not one of them, of these 613 aspects of the power of the soul, will be lacking. And to explain for the indispensably of the garments that we need this, why is it so important for the soul to have all the 613 garments? Is explained in the Zohar, and it's understandable by a very thinking person. It's understood. Everybody can understand this. Why? For the nefesh, ruach, and neshama in man are created entities and hence inherently limited. And it's impossible for any created being to attain and apprehend of the blessed creator in all forms, who is infinite. This, of course, is true with respect to divinity, and it's totally that transcends all worlds. But more, even after God had radiated a glimmer of his blessed light, and has caused an emanation of the form of evolution, of numerous descending degrees, level upon level, by a way of intense contractions and numerous immense garments that obscure godliness, which are familiar to the students of Kabbalah. And they're called in Ider Rabba, which is a book of Kabbalah, b'shem Sa'iders. They're compared to hairs. Just like the hair of a person is part of him, he doesn't feel anything. You can cut it. The hair can be cut. Even though any place else in the body that you cut, you're going to be in pain, but the hair, you have no pain. Even though it has the same life force as the regular, as the body, because the hair is so far, is so many garments that cover up the power of the body. In the hair, the hair doesn't feel when you cut it off of the body, because the life represented in the hair is so tenuous that it does not even convey sensation. The subtle glimmer of divinity energy that filters through the above described contraction are referred to metaphorically the hairs. So ultimately, as God clothes himself and clothes himself and clothes it, comes into the world, he's like the hairs. It's like hair. Sibben Anil, the Shar, as it's brought down in the prophet Anil, he says, and the hair of his head is like white wool, from which we see that a certain degree of spiritual downflow are referred to the term as hair. Nevertheless, even after screaming effects by these mighty contractions, neither nefesh nor the ruach or the neshama of the soul can endure that light. Can endure light of godliness. So how does the nefesh, ruach, neshama that was in this world, that lost its touch, lost its feeling of godliness, like here, now come up to heaven in Gan Eden, when Mashiach comes, to be able to enjoy divinity? This light is good and sweet. So intensely so, in fact, that no created being can receive without expiring. And we'll soon explain. So here, we as human beings cannot even enjoy that light. Now suddenly the soul is going to enjoy that light. As it says, behold the pleasantness of godliness. Noyam denotes pleasantness, agreeableness, sweetness, and infinitely intense delight. As it says, then you will delight yourself in God. He'll state, and he will say to your soul with pleasurable thirst. The word tzachtzechet is referred to tzichet summer, parched with thirst. It denotes a thirst that cannot be shaked, for the pleasant it involves is endless. So your neshama suddenly becomes thirsty because it sees the beauty and it never can satisfy itself, as stated in the Zohar. So how does the neshama have that capability? How does the neshama go from a situation where it didn't see this pleasantness, it didn't have this glory, and suddenly it has it? How is he going to handle it? How can the neshama handle it? It's impossible. He couldn't handle it in this world, and how is he going to handle it in the world to come? So it's not possible for the soul to receive this pleasantness without leaving its husk, its limitation, and become wholly nullified. Just like a candle flame becomes entirely nullified in the torch, it will become totally nullified. That's the only way it can receive its pleasantness, that it becomes totally lost. It becomes part of the pleasantness itself. And that's compared to a candle. Just like a light of a candle loses identity in the dependent luminary once it's confronted by intense diffusion of a fierce torch, of a bonfire. So when the soul ceases to exist in a dependent entity, if it were to absorb the radiance of the emanating from the intense light and sweetness of godliness. It's interesting. That's what people say after life experience, that they see a tense light. They get lost in the light. But we don't want to get lost in the light. We want to continue our identity. And that's why we need garments. The Eibishter gave that we're going to enjoy the light. I'm not going to get absorbed in the light, get lost in the light. And basically, basically, as we come to heaven or Mashiach comes or whatever, we're going to lose ourselves in the light. And basically lose our identity, become part of this energy, this godliness, and basically lose who we are. No. We're gonna create garments. And that's the mitzvahs. We're gonna create garments in this world. And through creating garments in this world, even when this revelation is revealed, whether it's in Gan Eden or Olam Haba, when this revelation is revealed, we'll be able to absorb it. Were it not for this very light, that they were involved and issue forth some minute radiance by the way of evolution from level to level with multiple contractions. Until a single garment is created, this contracted light, a creation akin to the nature of this light, in which to garb the nefesh ruach neshama. So the Eibishter, that's what Kodesh Baruch Hu Zakas is Yisrael. The Eibishter wanted to give merit to Jewish people. So the Eibishter took from the light and created a garment from the light itself. Right? So that's the only way how the garment can handle light, because it comes from that divine light. And now, that divine light, that's why it's the Ratzon of the Eibishter, it's the will of God. It's not the wisdom of God, it's the will of God. So it's the whole purpose why the Eibishter created the light. It's his will, just like he had a will in light, he had a will that we would absorb the light. He didn't create the light for no reason, that we would lose ourselves in the light of God. He created this light that we should enjoy the light. We should see the beauty in the light. But if we don't have a garment, then we would get lost in the light. So therefore, the Eibishter, from the light itself, he created his garment, which is a mitzvah. And the Jew clothed himself in this mitzvah. Now he can absorb the light, because the mitzvah itself comes from the light. It's an interesting concept. And by the way of this God, which is akin to this light, can derive enjoyment. So the soul can derive enjoyment from the ray of this light and apprehend it without becoming wholly nullified out of existence. That's the beauty. We don't want to become nullified out of existence in this world, and we don't want to become nullified in Gan Eden out of existence, and neither in Olam Haba out of existence. And that's why the Eibishter gave us mitzvahs. So we garment ourselves in these mitzvahs, which is the source of this mitzvah, the original light, the Ratzon, the will of God, that gives us the capability to absorb this mitzvah. So since this garment derived from this light, it's not only withstands its intent itself, but it also enables the soul to receive the light. Being a created entity, this garment can be worn by the soul. And what is this garment? That's a mitzvah. This analogy is someone looking at the sun through a fine, lucid speculum, through a certain glass. You can see the sun through sunglasses. As written, Moshe Rabbeinu went within the midst of cloud and he ascended the mountain. How did Moshe Rabbeinu go to heaven? He went in the midst of a cloud. He garmented himself. Put himself in a garment, a protective garment. And he vested himself in a cloud, which the Eibishter gave him, that cloud. He descended through the cloud. Meaning the cloud served as a garment, that means, which Moshe Rabbeinu had to do to the speed of relation at Sinai. And they didn't die. That's why the rest of the Jewish nation, God revealed himself. They passed out. They nullified. But Moshe Rabbeinu did not. He had this garment. They should on the Zoya. So here the Eibishter, after Matan Torah, gave every Jew garments. Gave every Jew garments. And he gave them a mitzvah, but the garment of a mitzvah has many levels. First of all, every mitzvah has 3 garments, machshava, dibur, and maisa, which is the thought of the mitzvah, the dibur, the speech, the halacha, the laws of the mitzvah, the learning of the mitzvah, and the maisa, the actual action of the mitzvah. And we need to garment ourselves with these 3 garments. And until then, we cannot receive the glory of this mitzvah, in essence. So that's why the neshama has to come down again. If when the neshama did the mitzvah, but he didn't do it in thought and in speech, he has to come down again to do it in speech and in thought. Hopefully, if he only did it in speech, but he didn't do it in thought, he has to come down again. Because for ultimately, this neshama, this soul, to receive the light in heaven, needs to do it. Needs to have these garments. Needs to have all 3 garments of each mitzvah. So in essence, the Eibush did a favor. So the Zoya looks at reincarnation as a favor to the soul. God did a favor to the soul that he reincarnated him. He said, okay, you know what? I'm going to send you back again to finish the job. So we're not only doing our own job in this world, we're finishing really a job that the neshama needs to finish in every mitzvah. So that's why we should try to do every mitzvah in all 3 ways. We should do every mitzvah in action, self-understood, do the mitzvah. We should learn about the mitzvah, learn the halacha of the mitzvah. That's dibur, learn the law of the mitzvah. And we should also have machshava. We should have attention about what this mitzvah is and all the contemplations and meditations and godly inspirations about this mitzvah. What a beautiful, beautiful Tanya today was. Wow. Today, the 19th day of the month, the 19th day of the month of Cheshvan, and the Tillim today is 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. So 90 to 96 in your Psalms, and you will have done the Chitas of the day. I wish you all a wonderful, beautiful, happy, and healthy, gorgeous day. See you tomorrow, even in the rain. Singing in the rain. See you tomorrow at 8.